Kerry's Jack Goulding in action against Laois in Austin Stack Park on Sunday afternoon. Photo by Domnick Walsh. I focus. We've said it before and we'll say it again, when these guys good, they're very good indeed. On Sunday afternoon, with the pressure on, this young Kerry side stood up and delivered a performance of precision and poise that left Laois gasping for breath at times. When the Kingdom hit the accelerator, they were all action, full throttle, and Laois simply couldn't keep up. That Kerry could play at such a pace and maintain the quality of their play is what will most enthuse supporters. The accuracy of their passing and the intricacy of it belied their Division 2A status. It was only in the second half, with an extra man in the game wrapped up, that they became a little sloppy in possession, and even then they retained the ability to turn it on at will. When Laois threatened occasionally to move into contention, the visitors brought a 10-point halftime lead down to 8 on a couple of occasions. Kerry always had the capacity to respond. A pattern that was set in the first half. Fintan O'Connor's men were relatively comfortable in this game right from the get-go. About 90 seconds was all it took for the Kingdom to make their intentions plain. Brendan O'Leary and Barry Mahoney combined to set Jack Goulding in behind the cover, and the Bailiff man was steely-eyed with his finish. Perfect start for the hosts and a necessary one too, as Laois exerted something of a grip in on puck-out possession for much of the first half. Even so, Kerry's defense was solid enough to maintain their edge, although they had to rely on Martin Stackpool to save from Ross King on 20 minutes, until such a time as they began to turn the tide in the middle third, and once they did, Laois had no answer to the hosts. Shane Nolan pointed on 26 minutes to set a Kerry purple patch and train 1-7 to 0-7 at this stage. 3 minutes later, Nolan was most unlucky, following an assist by Brendan O'Leary, not to find the back of the net. A point by Brandon Barrett continued Kerry's momentum before Davy Griffin played in O'Leary for the Kingdom's second goal on 31 minutes. Laois struck back with a Ross King free, but Kerry remained rampant. Nolan pointed his second on 36 minutes, and then into the third minute of time added on at the end of the half. The Crowder man had the ball in the back of the net, following up and finishing brilliantly a wonderful pass across the face of goal by captain Padraig Boyle. 3 first-half goals, a 10-point lead and the advantage of an extra man for the second half following the late dismissal of Padraig Lawler on a straight red card put Kerry in a commanding position ahead of the second half 3-10 to 0-9. It would have taken something of a miracle for Laois to get something out of the game at that point. Even with Kerry squandering a large percentage of their chances, they were never in any real danger. Laois' two best players, Charles Dwyer and Willie Dunphy, were kept well in check by Mikey Boyle and Sean Weir, a lot of people's man of the match, respectively, and that being the case, Laois were struggling. Ben Conroy had a fine second half, pucking 4 points, but as we say, Kerry always had the capacity to strike back. It was remarkably tit for tat. When Kerry opened the half with 2 on the bounce through Barry Mahoney and Shane Conway, there was a chance Kerry would really sock it to their visitors, but it never came to that. Kerry did just enough to maintain their gap. With an extra player to hit, Martin Stackpool went short the majority of the time, cutting down on the chances of Laois regaining something of a foothold in the game. Second half may not have been scintillating, but it was professional, it was clinical. Hugely encouraging stuff from a young side. 2 rounds in and 2 good performances down, albeit only 1 win, this side is in a good place right now. Kerry, Martin Stackpool, Sean Weir, 0-2, John Buckley, Brian Murphy, 0-1, Brandon Barrett, 0-1, Daniel Collins, Shane Nolan, 1-2, Brendan O'Leary, 1-0, Davey Griffin, 0-1, Mikey Boyle, Barry Maffany, 0-1, Jack Goulding, 1-2, 1 sideline cup, Podrick Boyle, Shane Conway, 0-9, 7F subs, James O'Connor for T. Murnan, INJ, 23, Daniel O'Carroll for S. Nolan, 54, Tomas O'Connor for D. Griffin, 67, Maurice O'Connor, 0-1, for J. Goulding, 72, Jason Diggins for S. Weir, 73, Laois, and A. Rowland, Padraig Lawler, Lee Bergen, Lee Clear, Ryan Mullany, Matthew Whalen, Eric Killeen, Patrick Purcell, 0-1, Kian Taylor, 0-1, Charles Dwyer, 0-1, Ben Conroy, 0-5. Willie Dunphy, 0-1, Ross King, 0-8, 6F2, 65, Stephen Marr, 0-1, PJ Scully, 0-1, subs, Colm Stapleton for L. Bergen, INJ, 9, James Ryan for L. Clear, 25, Joe Phelan for R. Mullany, halftime, Mark Kavanagh for E. Killeen, 46, Mark Dowling for PJ Scully, 57, referee, David Hughes, Carlo, the game in 60 seconds. Main man Barry Maffany showed flashes of brilliance, while Shane Conway maintained the high standard he's been putting in this season, but we're probably going to have to go for Sean Weir, whose energy and verve helped set the tone for this very fine victory. Key moment: Martin Stackpool saved from Ross King on 20 minutes, and had Laois got a goal at that stage, the tenor of the game might have been a little different. Talking point: there must have been, considerably, fewer than 1,000 patrons in Stack Park on Sunday afternoon. The Kerry hurling fraternity really needs to do more to get out and support their side. They play great stuff and deserve the support. Kerryman.